Well, new at 11, the Tazewell Police Department says one person was stabbed and another person crashed into a construction site after a countywide motorcycle chase. Tazewell police say they received reports of a disturbance involving a motorcycle group around 4:40 this afternoon from North Broad Street. When they got there, police say they found one person who was stabbed in the chest at the scene. Officers say they were airlifted to UT Medical Center. Officers then say they tried to stop the group, but the group drove into Union County. Multiple agencies joined in on the chase, including Maynardville and Plainview Police and the Union County Sheriff's Office. Several police departments started to follow, and police say the chase ended near the Knox County line when one of the motorcycle drivers crashed into a construction zone. That person was also taken to UT Medical Center. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Tennessee Highway Patrol are helping with this investigation.
Small towns aren't supposed to be dangerous. Quiet streets, familiar faces, one gas station everyone knows. But on one Tennessee afternoon, that illusion shattered. What started as a disturbance outside a convenience store turned into blood on the pavement, a man fighting for his life, and a multi-county motorcycle chase involving an outlaw motorcycle club. This is the story of what happened in Tazewell, Tennessee, and why law enforcement across the region is now paying close attention. In the heart of Appalachia, nestled among the rolling hills of Claiborne County, lies the town of Tazewell. It's a place defined by its close community and a quiet, predictable pace of life. Here, news travels on the wind, carried from front porch to storefront, and serious trouble is a rare visitor that seldom overstays its welcome. The rhythm of life is steady, dictated by the changing seasons and the familiar routines of its residents. At the center of this story is Catdaddy's Market, a local convenience store on North Broad Street. More than just a place to stop for gas or a cold drink, it's a community crossroads, a familiar landmark where neighbors exchange pleasantries and catch up on the day's events. It stands as a symbol of the town's unassuming, day-to-day existence. But on this particular Tuesday, as the clock ticked past 4:40 p.m., the familiar, peaceful hum of the late afternoon was about to be shattered. The normal rhythm of the town was interrupted, suddenly and violently. It began with the low rumble of engines, a sound that grew from a distant hum into an overwhelming roar as a large group of motorcyclists descended on the market's parking lot. The sudden congregation of bikes and bodies was an unusual sight, immediately drawing the attention of patrons and passers-by. Within minutes, the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office began receiving frantic calls. Reports flooded in, describing a large disturbance. This wasn't just the sound of loud engines or a simple roadside argument. The tension was palpable. Raised voices escalated into physical confrontations. What started as a gathering had morphed into a chaotic brawl. It was violent, public, and unfolding in broad daylight at one of the town's most visible locations. With law enforcement en route, the situation was escalating fast, threatening to spill out from the parking lot and onto the streets of Tazewell. When officers arrived, they didn't find shouting or posturing. They found a man stabbed in the chest. A chest wound isn't minor. It's life-threatening, and in this case, severe enough that the victim had to be airlifted by helicopter to the University of Tennessee Medical Center. That alone tells you how serious the situation was. Blood had already been spilled, and the people responsible weren't waiting around.
According to Tazewell police, the motorcyclists involved were identified as members of the Pagan Motorcycle Club, one of the most well-known outlaw motorcycle clubs in the United States.
Now, let's be clear. Not every rider is a criminal. But outlaw motorcycle clubs carry a reputation built over decades. Territory disputes, confrontations, and clashes with law enforcement. And when something violent happens involving a large group of patched riders, police take it seriously. Very seriously. As officers attempted to detain several of the motorcyclists at the scene, things didn't calm down. Instead, they scattered. Multiple bikes took off, attempting to evade law enforcement. Engines screaming, traffic ahead, and no guarantee that everyone involved would stop peacefully. This wasn't just Tazewell's problem anymore. The pursuit spilled beyond the familiar town limits of Tazewell, crossing into the jurisdiction of Union County. This transition is a critical moment in any police chase. It complicates the chain of command and requires seamless communication between different law enforcement agencies, all while suspects are traveling at immense speeds. The decision to continue the pursuit is weighed heavily against the escalating risk to public safety. This is where situations like this become exponentially more dangerous, not just for the officers and the fleeing riders, but for every unsuspecting motorist sharing the road. The open highway offers the illusion of freedom, but it's a volatile environment where a single miscalculation can have catastrophic consequences for dozens of people. The equation is terrifyingly simple. High-powered motorcycles, capable of incredible acceleration. Public highways, filled with civilian traffic, and a series of split-second decisions made under extreme duress, where the margin for error is virtually zero. For the riders, adrenaline and desperation take over. For the police, it's a constant battle between the duty to apprehend and the duty to protect. And then, the inevitable happened. One of the bikes crashed. The crash occurred in a construction zone near the Knox County line. It was a worst-case scenario for a fleeing rider, an unpredictable landscape of uneven pavement, loose gravel, and narrowed lanes. In the chaos, the rest of the motorcycle group scattered, vanishing into the surrounding road network and making immediate apprehension impossible. The injured motorcyclist was quickly transported by ambulance to the UT Medical Center. In a grim twist of fate, this was the very same hospital where the victim of the initial stabbing was already being treated for their life-threatening injuries. The night ended with 2 people hospitalized, their paths violently crossing first in a parking lot and then again on the patient roster of a single trauma center. One violent incident had now left a trail of chaos stretching across multiple counties, leaving authorities with a complex investigation and a group of suspects still at large. In the immediate aftermath of the chaotic highway confrontation, authorities moved swiftly. Amidst the confusion of revving engines and scattered eyewitnesses, a new Tazewell police officer successfully intercepted and apprehended one of the suspects. This initial arrest was a critical breakthrough, providing an immediate lead in a rapidly unfolding situation. The individual was taken into custody, facing preliminary charges related to the assault and public disturbance. But the investigation didn't stop there. A single arrest, while significant, couldn't close the book on an incident of this magnitude. The sheer number of individuals involved and the organized nature of the confrontation signaled a much deeper problem. For investigators, the real work was just beginning. Due to the seriousness of the incident and the involvement of an outlaw motorcycle club, the case quickly drew the attention of a multi-agency task force, including the Tazewell Police Department, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. This collaboration was essential. Local police provided crucial on-the-ground knowledge, while state agencies brought specialized resources for tracking suspects across jurisdictions. When state and federal-level resources get involved, it means investigators are looking beyond a single fight. They begin to analyze everything from cell phone records to financial transactions, building a comprehensive intelligence picture. The objective shifts from simply prosecuting an assault to dismantling a potential criminal network. They're looking at patterns, affiliations, and potential wider implications. Investigators started mapping the club's known territories and recent activities, connecting the dots between this incident and other reports from neighboring counties. They were no longer just investigating a roadside brawl, they were probing the structure, hierarchy, and criminal enterprises of an organization operating in the shadows of East Tennessee. As of now, many questions remain unanswered. What sparked the original altercation? Was the stabbing targeted or spontaneous? How many riders were directly involved? Will additional arrests follow? Police have confirmed the investigation is ongoing, and more details are expected as evidence is reviewed and interviews continue. In cases like this, silence often means something bigger is being pieced together. This wasn't a bar fight. This wasn't a simple traffic stop. This was a violent incident involving a recognized outlaw motorcycle club, a critical stabbing, and a multi-county pursuit that put civilians at risk. For small towns like Tazewell, moments like this are a reminder. Outlaw culture doesn't always stay on the highway. Sometimes, it pulls off into your neighborhood. And when it does, everything changes. We'll continue to follow this story as more information becomes public, because the road doesn't forget, and neither do the people watching.